Good morning, Facebook friends. Thanks for joining me again as I share a video blog with you. Ironically or interesting today, I'm going to talk about our feelings or lack thereof with our faith. Sometimes in this faith journey, we have moments that are mountaintop, where there's great joy and excitement, where there's a deep sense of peace and so forth. But sometimes, once in a while, I pray, it's only once in a while, we go through places that some might describe as a dry place, or a place where we're just not feeling it. We're just not sensing how rich and real our faith is. And this morning, as I looked and thought about the blog, this is actually the third take, if you will, because I'm not feeling it. I'm not sure what I should give you. And so maybe you and others around you from time to time go through these places where, you know what I mean? You're just not feeling it. I remember an occasion where that happened about 15 years ago. We took our family vacation, and people were hoping I'd have, get restored and regenerated and all of that. And the beach was good. The family time was good and all. But when I came back, I wasn't feeling it. And here I had to preach and prepare and minister and all. And I told the people, I just honestly, I said, I'm not feeling it right now. And I wasn't numb, but I just wasn't, lack of a better term, just wasn't feeling it. And I said to our congregation, I said, you need to pray for me. And I'm going to look to be faithful, even when I'm not feeling it. And the reason I think we need to continue even when we're not feeling it is because sometimes our feelings can misdirect us. Sometimes our feelings lead us astray. Don't get me wrong. God made us emotional beings, and we have our feelings and all, but they need to come in conjunction with our faith. And so I believe in those moments where we're not feeling it, where there isn't the excitement, there isn't the energy that comes with that. That we need to remember a few things that God, I believe, wants us to remember, and those are the promises that He has for us. To remember the promises that He empowers us, that He will never leave us or forsake us, that if we confess our sins, He's faithful, He forgives us of our sins. How can we not be excited about that? Well, in our human condition, there's days we're just not feeling it. It's almost like, well, I know I'm going to heaven someday. I know that heaven awaits me and I have everlasting life, and that's all exciting and good, but okay, that's exciting and good. It's sort of like craziness, isn't it? But maybe today some of you may not be feeling it, and we need to remember the promises of God. We need to rely on what we know is truth as opposed to how we might be feeling. Let me give you an example of what I mean by relying on what we know is truth as opposed to relying on our feelings. There are times that physically we think we need more rest. We're seemingly always tired, and so we need to rest, and we rest and we rest and rest and sleep. And actually, our feelings are telling us that we're tired and need more rest, when actually the truth of it is that you and I might need more exercise. The fact that we need to energize ourselves by exercise. It's really clear to me in that regard physically, because I know there's times I've sat and watched 2 football games in a row on a Sunday afternoon, and I felt miserable because all I did was lay there all day or sit in my chair all day. And then when I get up and go to Rails to Trails and walk or go out and get energized, use up some energy, it actually brings about that energy. I think spiritually that happens to us sometimes as well, where we think we need to rest, and we're not in His Word, and we're not praying, and we're not serving, and we become spiritually ho-hum. We aren't feeling it anymore because we're not engaging, we're not exercising our spiritual journey that He has for us. We need to resist that. We need to resist the devil in that, and find ourselves continuing to seek the Lord even when we're not feeling it. There's a great biblical story about that I believe we need to hear today. Jesus is walking along the seashore, and the disciples have just they weren't disciples yet, where these guys were out there fishing, and they came in and they're cleaning their nets, and Jesus is preaching, and they fished all night. And anyway, Jesus says to Peter after he speaks, he says, let's go out fishing again. And Peter says, Master, we've fished all night. You know what? We're cleaning our nets. I'm just ready to go home. And then he says this, though: because you say so, we will let down our nets. And he didn't feel like it. I don't think Peter felt like going back out fishing, because he had expressed that. But when he goes out, they get this enormous catch. Oftentimes in our lives, when we're not feeling it, but we're faithful, it's when God blesses us. Personally, there's been times that I didn't feel like going to the hospital and visit people. I didn't feel like having to walk into somebody's home when I knew the family was there and someone was dying. It's not fun, but it's ministry. And those times when I didn't necessarily feel like it, but I continued to do ministry, it's amazing how then I'm the one that gets blessed, and the feelings follow that when we walk in faith. And so this morning, I just want to let you know that if you're not feeling it, if your faith is real and you know it, but you're just not feeling it, you're pretty normal. It makes sense. But don't give up and don't quit. If you continue to act upon your faith and be obedient to the Lord, He'll fill your net. He'll bring those things back. I just want to encourage you that with that today. Again, not feeling it, pretty normal. Keep faithful. He'll bless. God bless you all. Have a good week in Jesus.